Hello. I forgot I unmuted myself. I just cleared my throat like 5 times into the microphone. I meant to unmute just the game and give you the do 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 do. It's a problem because I got a burp too. Maybe I don't. I'm muted. I'm muted. Oh man, you should have seen your face. Can I say something? Listen, I don't have 3 friends. Things that are sad but true. Am I the only person? So I haven't watched any of the fast food challenges, the drive-through challenge, the DougDoug fast food challenge. As I understand it, it's 4 friends go through as many fast food drive-throughs as possible. And the current record is like 12 or 13 drive-throughs. Maybe I have a fundamental misunderstanding, okay? I saw that the current team that is leading or has the record right now.
Chips are dead.
Chips have been skulled.
Last bite, Simon. Cheers.
Hey, cheers to the Knights. Oh, that's the moan of victory right there.
God, fuck Will. Fuck Hassan.
Has 18,000 calories. Am I insane to think that that's not that much split between 4 people? It's a lot to eat on like a normal day, but for like a challenge, that doesn't seem that crazy. If it's 18,000 calories each, that's out of control. But 5,000 calories in 6 hours or 5 hours, it's a lot, but I mean, all I'm saying is this is not the Olympics, okay? If we're being realistic, the average person in North America probably eats 2,500 to 3,000 calories a day. So you're eating like 50% more. I was going to say 50x. You're eating 50% more in a much shorter time scale. But it's like, all I'm saying is I guess what I'm trying to say is put me on your team. That's all I'm saying. Put me on your team. I guess you have to order what the people in front of you order. That's, you know what, I understand now because there's a little bit of like a slot machine element to it as well. Because I'll say like every time I go through the McDonald's drive-thru, I would kill the person behind me if they were doing the challenge. The person in front of me, I look at their order and it's usually like 1 junior bacon cheeseburger and like a small coffee with 12 creams or something like that. It's unhinged, but it's small. I'm getting a 10-piece combo. My wife gets a 6-piece combo with a strawberry milkshake, and my kid gets a 4-piece Happy Meal. So, I mean, admittedly, you're splitting it between 4 people, but still, I would call that's a mid to low roll at the drive-thru. You're getting 20 nuggets, 3 fries, a milkshake, medium Coke Zero, orange juice, yogurt, apple slices. I will say, I'm not saying that I would crush it necessarily. All I'm saying is that I can easily do 2,000 calories in one meal in 30 minutes. And I think realistically, if you amortized it out over 4 hours instead, I think I could eat 2,000 calories an hour for 6 hours. I think I would be sick. I wouldn't feel good. I have that Peloton appetite, man. I genuinely think I eat 1,000 calories after dinner before bed. No, that's crazy. Maybe like 600. I'll just eat like just before bed. I'll be like, I'm a little hungry. Have a bowl of cereal, half a carton of blueberries, and like a third of a baguette or something like that. 2,000 calories of salad though versus 2,000 calories of fast food. Yo, but fast food is, well, it's easier to eat the calories because it's way more dense. 2,000 calories of salad would take you like hours to eat, man. I mean, 2,000 calories of fast food would still take you like it's not like a normal meal, I'm just saying. Imagine if you went to McDonald's and the person in front of you in the drive-thru ordered like 15 garden salads. You'd be, that's a run killer right there. Costco poutine's like 1,500. See, now you're calling my resolve into question, because anytime I've gotten a Costco poutine, I've eaten like 3 bites of it and been like, this is amazing, and then eaten 5 more bites and been like, I think I'm done. And then I put it in the fridge, and then like 4 hours later, I come back and eat like 6 bites, and then I throw it in the garbage. I probably eat like a third of the average Costco poutine, and I only really need to eat like an eighth of it. But anyway, I'm just saying I would be good on your team. That's all. But first off, somebody's gonna have to fucking like go to Vancouver. It's just me and Corey. I think Corey would help me out too. Don't get me wrong. Why do I think I'd be good at it? Because me and my friends in university, 4 friends, we did the fast food challenge, except instead of doing it with fast food, we did it with all the security lights on campus. We had like 2 4s of beer in cans, and we had to shotgun a beer. One person on the squad had to shotgun a beer at every security light. At the time, there were like 75, 85 security lights or something like that. Now, the first 20 lights, everybody's having a great time. The last 60 lights, that's where you really find out what you're made of. We started at like 8 p.m. We finished at like 5 a.m. We got through it. We did not feel good that night. We did not feel good the next day. We did not feel good the next night. We woke up the following day knowing we had created a cast iron memory between us that has bound us both in salvation and damnation eternally. I have some internal resolve for torture. It would kill you if you tried it now. Yeah, but fast food is not beer. It's bizarrely, it's better for you. So 4 of you split like 75 beers? Yeah. I mean, it took years of training just to get to the point where we even considered trying it in the first place. And it damn near killed us during it as well. But I didn't say it was cool. I said it was a lifelong memory that I'll cherish forever. Also, that wasn't even drinking them. It was shotgunning them, which is crazy. Under 4 pints is good for you? Shut up. Don't lie to the people in chat. Come on, under 4 pints is good for you. You can drink up to 2 liters of beer a day and it's good for your heart. What are you talking about? That's ridiculous. I'm not saying you can't live your life. I'm just saying, like, don't try to proselytize this to the rest of us. Same thing, people will be like, people who drink 12 beers a day will be like, why do you buy sparkling water? Just drink the free stuff that comes out of the tap. Look who's talking, brother. Anyway, 1 second. I'm going to use my Ember. Oh, you know what? We should probably like slash marker you here. Slash marker, Ember Knights. We are not sponsored to play Ember Knights today. I am going to beat this game because I want to prove that I can beat the game. And it's not a knock on Dan. We did well yesterday and Dan saved my life like so many times. But I also want to see how well I can do on my own because I was having a great time playing it, quite frankly. You haven't been roaming outside in Berlin for the past 24 hours, have you? No. I've been in my house. I preferred... I was going to take my daughter to the library yesterday. But I had them... Well, we had some glass getting installed just to tie the office together. You can't see it, but just... Hang on, I'm pointing and laughing. Just behind the camera here... There's 2 floor-to-ceiling panes of glass that make this, like, if you just put, like, an embossed logo, it would be like you're walking into, like, an accountant's home office or something like that. Now, I have no concept of how long it takes to complete blue-collar work, so I thought that would take an hour. It took 4 hours. And they did a great job. Like, you know, I call out bad service when I get it, so I'd like to acknowledge good service as well. They did a great job. It just took like way longer than I thought it would take because, to be honest, what the hell do I know about installing glass? That being said, life works in mysterious ways. I was complaining about not leaving the house, went to the grocery store, came back. As soon as I came back, I forgot the most important thing at the grocery store, so I had to go back to the grocery store. So I got to leave the house 2 times. No, okay, not the most important thing. I didn't forget my daughter. I forgot ground beef, which is less important. You know what's been stuck in my fucking head? And I say the F word here because it actually is aggravating. Please tell me you're as online as I am. Maybe not possible. I am a rectangle. I feel no hole. I am a rectangle. And you are a circle. I am a rectangle. Have you seen this on I hate this. I absolutely hate it as well.
I traveled 1,000 kilometers to New York City to do this. I am rectangular. I feel it in my bones. I am rectangular. I feel no hole. I am rectangular. And you are a circle. I am rectangular. I feel no hole.
I saw it, just to help out the librarian here, I saw it originally in a tweet, and the subject of the tweet was something like, Canadians are doing weirder things with music than we ever thought possible. And it was a guy wearing a vest with the Joker's hair, and the premise of the video, he said like, I traveled all the way to Times Square just to do this, and then in the middle of Times Square, he just started singing his own song, which was, I am a rectangle. I feel no hole, I am a rectangle. There's a lot of nuance in human existence, okay? It's not the worst. Oh, it's not I am a rectangle, it is I am rectangular. That's true. My mistake. So it's been stuck in my head wrong, which is like even worse. Either way, it's not the worst song I've ever heard, but in some ways, it not being irredeemable actually makes it worse. And I don't purport to understand how that works. I just purport to tell you the honest to goodness truth. I don't go to bat for all of my countrymen. Like he's not my guy. He feels no hole. You and me both, brother. Eating unrefrigerated meat stream when? Probably around the same time that I do the fast food challenge. Honestly, I think in Canada there's like some quirks. You should not go through a Tim Hortons if you are doing the fast food challenge, because you could easily get behind somebody who orders 10 coffees for everybody in their office and like 100 Timbits. You'll die. You need to go, just skip as many Tim Hortons as you possibly can. Or I don't know, maybe save it till the end or something like that. 100 Timbits is easy. That's 5,000 and 9,000 calories by itself, bub. Then you got to factor in the fact that if your office is going through a Tim Hortons drive-through, you know everybody's getting 8 creams, 8 sugars, or like, an extra large iced cappuccino. There's too much dairy, man. You're going to poop your pants in the back seat. What's a Timbit? It's just a donut hole. You guys are, if you are doing the fast food challenge in Canada, you can go to a Tim Hortons if you want to. I'm just telling you that it's like, it's your funeral, bub. 20 Timbits is $5. There's no way that not everybody that goes through the drive-thru is buying at least 20 Timbits. I do not even know what the fast food challenge is. I think I'm doing it wrong. I'm saying it wrong anyway. It's the drive-thru challenge. You and 3 of your friends in a car go to as many fast food restaurants as possible. You order exactly what the person in front of you in line ordered, and you go till you tap out or throw up. Yeah, you might get one person. Ooh, every 4 enemies you get permanent. Oh, bonus 1% damage. People sure are bored these days. Brother, look at this website, okay? Let's be nice to one another here. Not to mention, like, apparently the new meta is the old meta of just opening $10,000 worth of Counter-Strike Global Offensive boxes on stream, like literally every single stream. Do it? No, I hate gambling. And you should too, but I can't control you. No matter how hard I try. That's why they call me an influencer, not a comptroller. It's not gambling, it's CSGO, it's not gambling. It's spending money to get items that you'll never use in the game, you'll hoard them, and then hopefully sell them for more money later. It's only entertainment. It's not gambling. It's not gambling. It's completely different. I understand it's fun to watch. That's why I would watch it, but I would never do it. That's true. It's not gambling because you're not getting money. You're getting things that you can sell for money. It's like how gambling is illegal in Japan, but you could go to like a pachinko parlor and you could like just pay money for like plays, and then those plays give you like little gold bars, and then you bring those gold bars, and this, what a coincidence, the store that sold you the plays also wants to buy your gold bars. That's crazy. I hate gambling so much that I gave my CSGO sticker capsules to Chibli. And then he told me that they were valued at $40 each. And I said, keep the change. I'm never gonna use it. I'm not gonna hoard that resource. Apparently there's people out there that very much want the CSGO sticker capsules. And then later he paid it forward to me by losing every single game of Super Mega Baseball. Like it's the way of the world, brother. I'm going to pass away and die. One of those stickers goes for 80,000. Yeah, and like a lottery ticket, you know, one of those lottery tickets could theoretically go for like, you know, 100 million. Doesn't mean you wouldn't, you know, give your friend a lottery ticket if they're addicted to gambling and it's their birthday or something. So true, I'm gonna buy some lottery tickets. I support the lottery in the sense that at least the proceeds from the lottery tend to go towards improving the community around you. Whereas the proceeds for Counter-Strike Global Offensive cases go into Gaben's pocket. And I'm not like against Gaben. I'm merely saying he's doing all right. He has the only other submarine on Earth that's capable of getting down to the Titanic. Now, it's just him and James Cameron. I can't believe what do you mean missed? Like, I'm seeing the shot. It obviously is not missing. You built a trip mechanic into Ember Knights? Did you learn nothing from Super Smash Bros. Brawl? I have no idea what I'm talking about, by the way. Played a lot of Brawl, though. Just because of where I was at in my life. Would it have been better to be in college when Melee came out instead? Possibly, but I didn't control my own conception. That was really up to, like, my mom and my dad. I think. I don't know. I wasn't there. Technically you were? Well, I don't know if you're ready for that conversation. I would say technically I wasn't. I'm not making an argument about for like, you know, when like an embryo becomes a life. I'm rather saying like when did I become myself? I personally don't think it was at the moment of conception. I don't even know. It might not even have happened yet, to be honest with you. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still not myself. Exactly. Well, let me hit you with this. I'm not a philosopher, but here's a thought experiment for you. I don't think you ever are yourself. Like, I mean, whatever you do, you're always yourself. But at the same time, yourself is merely a concept that exists, you know, in a vacuum. Your actions take place in the real world where there's actually like mitigating circumstances. Your mood, your hunger. How did you sleep last night? You know, are you anxious over something? What's the relative humidity today? You know, yourself is like a reference that your actions look at in order to, I don't know what listen, but I believe it. I don't know what I'm saying, but I believe it. Yes, the superego. Yeah, but Freud didn't know what he was talking about, right? I don't know. I have to wait for like Christopher Nolan to make a movie or like Defunctland to do a video essay to tell me what to think. I think our minds are not one thing, but kind of a conference call going on. So true. People be like, I'm a generous person. Then all of a sudden, the new episode of The Bachelor's not good, and someone asks them if they can eat their sandwich, and they say, ew, human resources? I don't know where I'm going with this. Oh, man. You gonna see Oppenheimer? No, I only see movies that get 95 plus on Rotten Tomatoes, and Oppenheimer's only at a 93 plus 90 overall on Metacritic. I'm sorry, I only watch good movies. I have been watching a lot of Love on the Spectrum Australia, though. So it's not like I'm starved for good media right now. Like, there's lots of great stuff out there. Hey, hey, hey! Mission Impossible, one of the funniest movies of all time. You ever seen The Legend of Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy? It is a good summer for movies. I love inside jokes. Would love to be a part of one someday. I would love to go see all three of this summer's hottest blockbusters at the movie theater. Barbie, Oppenheimer, and then the joke is that one with Jim Caviezel that I forgot the name of, that they're buying tickets for, but not actually going to see. And then when they go to the theater, they're like, what the heck? The theater's completely empty, but yet it said it was sold out. You know what I'm saying? Sound of freedom, that's it. This is where I'd put my second wisp. If I had one. Oh, wait, I do. The Fairly Odd Parents. Is this anything? Hey, fellow parents, am I right? Hear a lot about the Fairly Odd Parents. What about the Fairly Odd Children? Of which there are many. How does he know that reference? Because it wasn't on when I was a kid, but people younger than me are now the driving force of culture online. So I've had to learn it to stay on their level. Whenever you hit an enemy with a perfect skill, it freezes them. I hit perfect skills every time. Cliffy B ain't got nothing on me. Do you ever feel like Charles Xavier using Cerebro while streaming? There are times, but like there's a difference. Because when Charles Xavier uses Cerebro, it's not like half the people in Cerebro are like, you piece of shit, you fucking suck, Charles Xavier, you bald asshole. Like, they're usually just going about their lives. The time I feel the most like Cerebro is when I'm reading chat and someone is disassociating from themselves and just having a conversation with nobody, as if this was not like a public room where people are like watching something. So sometimes you'll just be like on a conversational thread and then you'll look at chat and someone will write like 3 lines that was like, I was at the grocery store today and I went to get a cart and then someone said, we don't use carts here, we use baskets. I picked up a basket and then I went into the store and everybody had carts. And that's when I feel like Charles Xavier using Cerebro. Most of the time though, I feel like Senator Kelly. I'm like, I hate streamers, and then a streamer bit me, and I am like, oh, I am a streamer. I was wrong to hate streamers, and then I fucking like melt or whatever, turn into goo, dissolve into hand sanitizer on the operating table. Who? Senator Kelly, the senator who was like, I hate all mutants, and then he became a mutant because Magneto hit him with the brrrr. And then remember he comes out of the water and everyone's like, what's wrong with this guy? And he's like, at the end, he's like, I was wrong to be mutinist. You know what I mean? Yeah, the water guy. Water guy. Water guy. You ever think it's messed up that in the song, like the song Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is like, don't judge people for being different. Fucking second line, well, I guess it's like the 8th line, immediately betrays the central conceit by saying, do you recall the most wonderful reindeer of all? Fucking, like, all reindeer are created equal, except some are more equal than others. You know what I'm saying? They doubted Rudolph, and then Rudolph immediately turned into Ayn Rand. He's like, you thought I sucked, but actually, I was the best out of anybody. You know that 100% Rudolph's kids are going to be spoiled. Rudolph's going to be like, my childhood was fucked up. So I'm going to make sure my kids never have to deal with that. And then Rudolph's kids are going to be like, my dad was the one who led Santa's sleigh on that fateful night. And you're going to be like, oh, shut the fuck up, dude. We're literally just picking dodgeball teams. Jesus Christ. You know what's an all-time great tweet? If that shit happened to me and my friends would have killed E.T. with a rock. I can tell you that much. That's an insanely good... I think about that tweet at least once a month. I don't think I would have killed E.T. with a rock, but I definitely think a lot of people would have. Oh, with hammers! That's right, with hammers. I just got a job at the Everett Costco. If I see you, should I say, hey man, love your shit, or is that cringe? Are you allowed to swear if you work at Costco? Are you allowed to swear in the Costco if you work at Costco? You can just say hi, it's fine. I mean, you don't have to say the S word. I'll probably be with my kid if I'm in the Everett Costco, so maybe like, you know, keep it PG-13, but PG-13 lets you say 1 F per movie. Well, yeah, I get 1 F-bomb a day. I'm using it. Probably some Bellingham driver cuts me off. I'll tell him to get F'd. Drivers from Bellingham taking time out from yelling at Canadian consumers traveling to Bellingham to buy their milk to they themselves drive to Portland, Oregon to purchase something without sales tax. Remember that time we were playing GeoGuessr and it was Bellingham Use of tobacco is not prohibited. Why don't you just put up... Wouldn't it be easier at some point to just put up a sign telling me what I can do? Because it appears that there's probably less things I can do than I can't do. So if you could just... Oh, don't drive so fast. There's kids here. Don't smoke. Blah! What? Wenger's Farm? Never been, quite frankly. I'm probably not allowed because they sell milk there. And that milk is apparently for Americans only, even though all the fruit in the store was flown in from South America. Okay, Bellingham. Just place me right there. Ah! No wonder it looked nice. It was Bellingham, New Jersey, not Bellingham, Washington. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop slandering Bellingham. It's actually like a really nice place. I've never seen this part of it before. And then it turns out that it was like Bellingham, New Jersey instead of Bellingham, Washington. Oh, man. This is Massachusetts. What? New Jersey, Massachusetts. Same thing. No, they're not. They're different. In New Jersey, they're like water. In Massachusetts, they're like, table for 8? You're gonna spend a lot of money? Go fuck yourself, you piece of shit. Obey your mother. Is it Taylor ham or pork roll? I'm not taking a side in that debate. It's like, it's the damn Council of Nicaea. You're trying to get me excommunicated. It's crazy that ham is pork, but it isn't. You know what I mean? Like ham, they're both from the same animal, but ham is not pork. Is it a pork product? I wouldn't debate that at all. Obviously, it's a pork product. That's a matter of fact. But it's not pork. There's a if you don't know the difference, then don't come at me saying I don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on. A relic orb. Useless. No, it's not useless. It's integral to the meta progression. No, it will obey your mother. Sorry. Is steak beef? That's what I'm saying. It is and it isn't. Is steak. Obviously, steak is a kind of beef, but it's not beef. Like, it's not... If I was like, I want beef for dinner, and then you cook me a steak, I would be like, yo, you went above and beyond. I wanted beef, you gave me steak. But if I wanted steak and you gave me beef, I would be like, what? I said I wanted steak, you piece of crap. Think there's anybody out there making hamburgers with like ground up ribeye? Men are so funny. By the way, I am one, so I can say anything, no matter how offensive it is. Men will really be like, I'm getting super into cooking. Oh, really? What did you make? Oh, like hamburgers, but with good beef. Don't be mad. You know I'm right. What do you do? What's your hobby? I've recently started getting really into cooking. Oh, really? Have you been making anything interesting? I've been cutting my own potatoes and frying my own French fries lately. There's nothing wrong with it. If you get offended, maybe there's something wrong with your perception of yourself. I've been making my own fried chicken at home, actually. I'm upset that you're completely right. I lived it, so I know. What's the best dish that you can make? I don't know. Homemade fish and chips. Buffalo chicken tenders. But here's the thing. I bought breadcrumbs instead of just getting them out of the frozen food section. Actually, I realize now my best dish, a lot of people can't handle it, but my actual best dish is, here's what you do, okay? So first off, you need a really clean kitchen counter to do this, because this is not something you can just do on a cutting board. You need the whole counter, okay? So you pour out an entire bag or two of Tostitos Hint of Lime tortilla chips on your marble countertop, and then you take a jar of queso and you just sort of pour it like over the top, and then you buy those pre-cooked chicken strips from the grocery store and you just sort of lay those over top, and then you just take 2 tomatoes and crush them in your hands and then sort of like drizzle the juice over top and then drop the tomatoes on. And then you're going to take like 2 red onions, you're going to chop them up and you're going to put them over the top. Here's where things get interesting. Now you're going to take ketchup and you're going to go, and then you're going to take Hershey's chocolate syrup, not the hard shell, where it gets cold and makes a shell, you're going to take the default chocolate syrup and go... Then you're going to take some truffle salt and you're going to go... And then you take a rolling pin and you just put it on one end and you just go... And then you take that and you scrape it into a baking pan and then you cover it with shredded cheese. And here's the thing that you were probably with me so far, but here's the thing that's going to maybe lose some people. You put little marshmallows, like the kinds that you would put in hot chocolate. You put those on top of the shredded cheese. Then you put it under the boiler for like 5 minutes until the cheese and the marshmallows brown. Then you take it out and you slice it and you serve it. Sorry, not the boiler, the broiler. I want to be very specific because I know many of you are going to make this recipe for yourselves, and I don't want you to boil it and then be like, why does it taste so bad? I want you to put it under the broiler so it gets nice and crispy and delicious. Do you guys remember Linsanity? That was a great era for the NBA, right? Yeah, he was electric. Anyone remember Lin-Manuel Miranda? Yeah? You ever see Lin-Manuel Miranda rapping on House? I'm a manic Hispanic who's got a... And then he loses the rhyme, and then he looks at Dr. House, and Dr. House goes, my name is Jeff. And then Lin-Manuel Miranda goes, Dr. House in the house, y'all. It's a pretty good episode. Dr. House verbally abuses a member of his staff until she kills herself. But here's the thing, he was right. So, really, in real life, there are no bad people. There's just differences of opinion or something. I'm not hating on House. House kind of a... Listen, was it a good show? It was in the mid-2000s when TV was worse. What does it compare to fucking Better Call Saul? Probably not, okay? But like in the mid-2000s, it was a damn revelation because you were either watching that or Joey, right? So, like, listen, if you didn't live through it, don't judge it. That's all I'm saying. What about Nip Tuck? I watched the first season of Nip Tuck. I thought it was like serious television that was good. And then like at the end of the first season, I'm pretty sure that they give a drug lord plastic surgery that like changes his appearance so much that he's unrecognizable. And then I was like, this is a damn soap opera. Like, this is not a serious television. This is like General Hospital or like As the World Turns or something like that. What about Lost? I only watched like the first season of Lost, which is crazy because I think that it was good in the first season and then it got like really, really good in like the second season. And then maybe it sort of fell off, but I will also say, like, why did I stop watching it? I don't know. I was 15. Like, life changes fast at that era. Shout out to the year ABC made Lost, Desperate Housewives, and Ugly Betty. So true. I've seen none of almost all of those shows, but big ups. I don't disagree. I got nothing against it. Desperate Housewives was kind of a banger. I never saw it. I definitely, for some reason, I'm familiar. I know it sounds like I'm making a joke. I'm not making a joke. I think it's because my mom watched Entertainment Tonight. I'm familiar with like every actress who was on it. You had your Eva Longoria. You had your Nicolette Sheridan. You had... Who else? Maybe I'm not familiar with all of them. Marcia Cross and Terry... I should have gotten Terry Hatcher. I'll forgive myself missing Marcia Cross, but... No disrespect to Marcia, of course. I'm just saying. Terry Hatcher, like as a kid, I grew up watching The Adventures of Superman and Lois. Oh, Felicity Huffman. Gertrude Stein. I forgot Gertrude Stein was in that one. Okay, I'm being told Gertrude Stein was not in Desperate Housewives. I'm being told that that is disrespectful to one of the great American female novelists of the 20th century. I'd like to apologize to the estate of Gertrude Stein. Not accepted. Son of a bitch. I really needed that one. I needed to get back in the good graces of the Stein heads. You ever think about how Jim and Pam built their relationship off of bullying their autistic coworker? You know what? Listen, get out of my chat, because you're right and I hate it. It's okay, because yes, they bullied him, but like later on, they become friends with him. Like they recognize Dwight's quirks and they like find the ability to have like a mutual degree of respect between them in spite of the fact that maybe they kind of, well, they antagonize him, but he antagonizes them too by like annoying them sometimes. He probably does some other stuff. Like, I mean, I don't know, maybe. Dwight chose him as his best man. Did that sentence make sense? Dwight chose him as best man. Dwight chose him as his best man. He's just kind of a dweeb, right? Like, I mean, I've seen a lot of The Office. I should have more nuance for this discussion, but I don't really. He shot a gun in the office and aimed a sniper rifle at his boss. Wait, is that problematic or based? Based? Wait, which boss? Did he aim a sniper rifle at Michael? Because Michael was just misunderstood. It's problematic how based it is. Yeah, I'm into fitness. Fitting this whole pizza in my mouth in Ketchikan, Alaska. I see what you did there. Let's get high. Depends whether Michael Scott was in his racist era. You guys need to relax, okay? Michael Scott loves everybody. He loves them so much that he wanted them to laugh, and that's what led to him making a racist joke, okay? It's only that he loved so many people so much that he made a mistake in service of that love. It is, you know what's crazy to me is watching The Office when it aired, and thinking it was very funny that Michael Scott hated Toby for no reason, and then watching The Office like 6 or 7 years ago, and then going to like r/The Office and realizing that a lot of people who watch the show actually just hate Toby. They're like, man, I love when Michael Scott sticks it to Toby. Yes, Toby in the later episode touches Pam's leg. He shouldn't have done that, and the point of the episode is that he shouldn't have done that, okay? He leaves the office like right after that. But in season 2, like the dude's just going through a divorce or something like that. I gotta own Lord Bruma real quick. If he was good, he'd be called Lord Vacuum. Hang on. Someone said something about The Office and my millennial. I'm getting rankled as a millennial. Season 1 to 3 of The Office are about normal people trying to find connection and joy in everyday life, and the later seasons are just like, wow, these folks are so zany. I'm 100% with you, okay? I think The Office is not that bad. I think it's unfairly maligned, largely as a result of the fact that it's relatively inoffensive, which is offensive to people in and of itself, because it's perceived as bland and milquetoast. And also the fact that it was insanely popular and still is. But I definitely liked it more when it was like 11 normal people, you know, trying to find a way to stave off boredom, working in this like meaningless occupation. No disrespect to paper salespeople out there, but like, you know, it's a reality. They're not doing what they wanted to do with their lives. You know, they're selling paper, and that comes with a certain amount of like existential crises, and they're kind of that's an undertone of the series, is the soul crushing boredom of like living your, whenever you crit your skills refresh. Ooh. But then like Jim and Pam fall in love, and it's like, wow, isn't it crazy that like all of these weird people who didn't really get along that much and only were acquaintances as a result of their shared workplace, it's like actually we're all best friends with each other. Even still, up until Michael Scott leaves, the show is still kind of like okay. But then after that, it only exists to sell mugs. It has, for a show that gets so much hate, The dinner party episode is actually one of television's great episodes. At least comedy television's great episodes. It's like dinner party, pick your favorite Simpsons episode. Mine is like 23 short films about Springfield. Hank's Big Night from the Larry Sanders Show. You could probably throw in like a couple Arrested Development season 2 episodes in that, I'd say. Charlie Work, sure. I don't know. I watched out of It's Always Sunny by like maybe like season 7, season 6. So I'm familiar with Charlie Work. I'm not familiar with a lot of like I was gonna call it modern day It's Always Sunny, but basically like anything in the last 10 years, except for Mac's ballet performance in prison, where Danny DeVito says, "I get it now." How do you feel about Scott's Tots? I think it's pretty good. I think it's overrated as like I can barely watch this episode, but I've also come to understand that like I have no problem with awkward humor, but a lot of people do, and as a result, it becomes hard for them to watch it. But that's not me. That's all I'm saying. Palestinian chicken curb episode. I don't know if that's number 1, but it's definitely up there. The doll is also up there. Which one is the doll? Hang on. The doll, Curb Your Enthusiasm. What the IMDb description is so funny. Larry cuts the doll's hair with his Swiss Army knife, but when the camera zooms out afterwards, he's holding big blue scissors. I don't think that's the plot synopsis. I think that is a piece of trivia, like a gaffe from the episode. Why is that the highest search result? It really is a show about nothing. As part of a deal with ABC, Larry agrees to attend a screening of a new miniseries. At the after party, Larry finds the bathroom doors have no locks, so he goes to use the upstairs bathroom, and the network exec's daughter asks him to cut the hair off her doll's head. He does, incurring the wrath of the exec's wife, a theater goer, and Susie. I don't remember it, but I've probably seen it 4 times. Can you describe I Think You Should Leave for people who haven't seen it? The spirit of I Think You Should Leave is when you get mad and you convince yourself in your head that it's justified, and then you talk to the object of your anger, and they explain to you clearly that you're being crazy. And you recognize that you're being crazy, but you're still mad, so you say something insane. You know when you get into an argument and then you start to realize that you were in the wrong, even though you think you're in the right because you're riled up? That's I Think You Should Leave, is the gradual realization of that. That just sounds like Larry David? No, see, you got it backwards. Most of the time, in Curb, Larry David is right. It's just that he probably shouldn't. He's breaking the social contract by being so anal about minor social faux pas. Not every sketch is like that, though, and I Think You Should Leave. Every Curb episode is like that, but you know. You see the tweet that was like, people these days only watch television with good episodes? They'll eventually remember that the best kind of TV is something that has 200 episodes and 40 of them are the worst thing you've ever seen. I'm not there yet, but I mean, that's what TV was like when I was growing up. You weren't like, you know, why did I watch 500 episodes of Everybody Loves Raymond? Because, like, I laughed a couple of times per episode, and it fucking came on Mondays at 8 p.m. What am I going to do, right? How's Dan doing in Gungeon? I feel like I'm going through, like, some false memories or something like that. Dan's playing Enter the Gungeon, and he's tweeting stuff like, why did I never know that Enter the Gungeon was so good? But I feel like I've watched him play, like, 30 hours of Enter the Gungeon, which means he probably played, like, 200 hours of Enter the Gungeon. Yes, that's correct. Okay. So it's not just me, then. He loves to lie. Well, I think he loves to misrepresent things, which is, like, the dictionary definition of lying. But most people use lying with, like, negative connotations. I think he kind of does it in, like, in a humorous way. Not even a LeBron Jamesian way, because I don't know why LeBron lies so much. I think it's just I think he just likes to do it. I don't think he's trying to make people laugh. Then why am I not laughing? I don't know, because he's not a Toho character origin. If a Toho character did it, you'd probably be like, oh, I love her. She's so gremlin mode or whatever. I don't know. But when a living human man does it, you know, for some reason the barrier to entry is a lot higher. I'm just saying. I'm flattered that you guys are laughing right now. Imagine how much you'd be laughing if I was a damn VTuber. Shit would have like 8 million views on YouTube within 24 hours of it being uploaded. I'm actually really lucky that I don't have hair. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm not saying that I'm not good looking. I'm not trying to fish for compliments. Well, here's what I am saying. I think that and I'm not saying it's right. In fact, if anything, I'm saying that it's wrong. I think the barrier to entry for a hot comedian is a lot higher. For men, at least. I think if you're an ugly male comedian, you don't have to work as hard to be funny. I think if you're a hot male comedian, you have to be insanely hilarious in order to get the right amount of laughs. Because the average person that goes to a comedy show is going to see you walk out and be like, fuck this guy. You gotta be like really funny to get over that. Because you're gonna, when you come out, people are gonna be like, I hate you already. John Mulaney's hot? Yeah, but he's not, you know what I mean. Like imagine like Chris Hemsworth doing stand-up comedy or something like that. People would be like, shut the fuck up, you fucking hunk. Dickhead. Why don't you go do some fucking instead of trying to tell jokes? Leave the jokes to the rest of us uggos. Like, you can be a classically attractive Hollywood actor and be seen as funny, but there's a difference between being, like, funny in a movie and being, like, funny on stage. Like, I can't imagine Owen Wilson getting a good reaction to his stand-up. Is that why you're so funny? See, that's a great situation. You better hope you're hot. Because that shit was the whole joke the whole time. So you're saying you didn't do stand-up because you're too good looking? No, I'm not. Listen, I'm simply making an observation about society. I think hot dudes have a higher barrier to entry for humor. Not in real life. Like, I think if you're a hottie in real life and you say something that's not funny, people will laugh just because they want your approval. But I think if you get on stage as a stand-up comedian and you're a hottie, you got to work a little bit harder. That's why Dane Cook never took off. I don't have it. There's an exception to every rule, okay? I don't find Dane Cook funny. But did he get laughs for a period? Yes. And he gets some laughs now, probably. In a weird... Okay, now I don't know how deep I want to go into this. You have to understand for context, I was the dude, like, in first year university where everybody was like, you gotta watch this Dane Cook special. He's literally the funniest man that's ever existed in Earth's history. I was like, hey, that was not funny at all. You guys want to see something? How about we all get into my room and listen to Arizona Bay by Bill Hicks? Now there's a comedian, you know? So, like, that's where we're coming from here. So I'm not saying you have to respect Dane Cook. I may have been his first hater. What I am saying is that he has not, and to the best of my knowledge, he has not pivoted to Newsmax, my career died because of the woke mind virus, which for many washed rich comedians, that temptation is very hard to resist. He just, as far as I know, he's playing Call of Duty Warzone on Twitch, trying to make people laugh and have a good time. And, you know, that I'll give him some credit for that. You should do a collab with Dane Cook. I'm more of like an Andy Kindler sort of guy. Let's just be honest. Like, Dane doesn't want anything to do with me because he doesn't know who I am. And I don't want anything to do with him. The things I find funniest are a little mean-spirited. And Dane Cook's humor is not mean-spirited. You know, he just wants everybody to get along. Dane Cook did have a bit about somebody who believed in reincarnation being turned into a tree and then turned into a Bible. You know what? I was mostly familiar with his subversive work that transcended the medium, where he said, why do they call a straight walk a beeline? Really, if something's going to be a beeline, it should look like this. And then it switches to the overhead camera, and he walks out to trace the shape of a bee. Did you see the lady who said she doesn't eat bananas for ethical reasons, but she does cocaine recreationally? So here's the thing. I don't know what kind of Twitter circles I run in. I did not see that, but I did see the echo. I saw people talking about banana discourse, but I did not see any banana discourse myself. I do think it's important to note, as I die here, that I think that everybody has those kind of contradictions within themselves. Not to that extent, obviously, that's like a medical problem. Which is why you should never tweet anything that isn't a shitpost. Like, the fact that you would ever... If you're gonna go out there and say it's unethical to support the banana industry, and I understand, listen, this... Motherfucker. Despite not being aware of the discourse, I can understand where it comes from. You know, colonialism leads to the price of bananas only being 50 cents per pound for like the last 70 years because there's a puppet regime installed in Central America or something like that. But you better make damn sure that you're living a perfect life before you get on people for eating bananas, because it's a very popular fruit. Tundra boots. When you dodge an attack, you shoot a seeking dart that freezes. What about a seeking fart that dreezes? Whenever you defeat a frozen enemy, it creates a small burst of ice that freezes other nearby enemies. What about a small burst of... Okay, well, listen, we hit gold once. Let's stop right there. NL, do you have tennis or pickleball energy? Honestly, maybe I'm flattering myself. I think I have tennis energy. I could definitely see myself later in life having pickleball energy. Or, I mean, I would play... I love racket sports to begin with. My main reason for thinking I have tennis energy is that I'm not 55 years old, which is like a prerequisite for being good at pickleball. And then secondarily, I took tennis lessons for 2 years as a kid and really enjoyed it. So I'd say that I think I've got tennis energy, speaking from experience. Why'd you stop? Well, okay, so at first I took them at like a combination golf course tennis facility, and it was really good, but it was also like a long drive for my parents to drop me off. So then like the next summer, I took courses at like the local tennis courts, which was much closer, but I was like 12, my instructor was 15, and like on the first day, I was like, I'm better than the instructor. So we basically would just get together like once every 6 weeks, and my parents would pay her like $40 a session for me to beat her ass in tennis. Like, and then at that point, I was like, I didn't really learn much from the last lessons, so maybe I'll just play video games instead. And they were like, that's fine. Her? Yeah, bro, women play tennis too. You asshole. I still... This is a classic bit for the librarian, by the way. I still wonder what would have happened if they had... Because when I first went to tennis lessons, I am ambidextrous. So rather than have a backhand and a forehand, when the ball came to the side that my racket wasn't on, I pivoted the racket to the other hand and hit a forehand, okay? My teacher was like, if you do that, like, you're gonna suck and I'm gonna give you like bad marks, which at the time I was like, that sucks for me. But now I'm like, who cares, bro? It's like, it's not school, it's tennis lessons. Anyway, they were like, you can't do that, you can't do that, no pros do that, you can't do that. And so I switched to having a two-hand backhand, which I'll admit feels freaking sweet when you go and you give it like a good one. That being said, how does he know that I can't do it in pro just because nobody's ever done it before? All of a sudden you got like Sean Marion and he's playing college ball, and everyone's like, he's not going to make the NBA with form like that because his release is like impossible to time in NBA 2K. Then he plays like 11 years on the Phoenix Suns and becomes one of the first people to pioneer positionless basketball. Okay, I could have been the Sean Marion of the Pro Tour. I'm not saying I would have been Pete Sampras or Roger Federer or something like that, but I could have been like Michael Chang, and they would have been like, look at how cool this guy is with his double forehand or something. You know what it is I feel like someone who like basically I was like a left-handed person in the 1930s. My teacher was like, you have to write with your right hand. And I was like, why? It feels better to write with my left. And they're like, you wouldn't get it. When you go to college, you'll have to do cursive writing with your right hand. Everybody's right-handed. Yeah, well, you know what? Honestly, I could have been the first in a long line of people that are backhandless tennis players. I don't really hold it against the teacher. Like, I mean, he was just doing what he thought was best. I hold it against society, to be clear. Just don't listen to people. No, I'm a people pleaser. I love listening to people. And then holding it against them later. Man's so old he learned cursive. I mean, I was like 7 when I learned it. Like, I'm not gonna take any responsibility for learning cursive. I was just in the damn... You wanted to get through the 2nd grade, you had to learn cursive, unfortunately. Doesn't make any sense to me either, but I never learned cursive. Congrats. I mean, there's a lot of... I grew... And you did it as well, regardless of what your age is, honestly. If you are a living person right now, you went through, like, a very transformative period for society, just in terms of like change and technological growth, right? And people might say it's always been like that, but I bet if you were born in like the year fucking 1430 and you died in like 1490, that shit was pretty much like routine, right? Like there was like one invention over those 50 years that changed your life. But like, I'd been using a scythe like this, and then check it out. We got a handle on this part now. Zhunk, 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 you know? Big whoop. I'm not saying it's the first transformative period in history. I'm just saying, like, for the most part, your life was probably about the same. For me, on the other end, 2 things that blow my mind about my education growing up. Learning cursive ended up being... At the time, it felt useless, and ended up being even more useless than I thought because of the rise of computers. But on top of that, speaking of computers, I had a typing class like every year from 4th grade to 9th grade, which felt like they billed it to us as them being like future-proofing us. They're like, holy cow, you have to learn how to type because computers are becoming like so common. You know, you're probably going to end up using a computer in your job. And we were like, whoa, that sounds awesome. But then, though that's true, but then those MFers taught to the damn letter of the law for typing class. So I would, in like 4th or 5th grade, I was typing like 30, 40 words per minute, which for a 4th grader in 1997 or 1998 was really, really good. Then my teacher would watch me and be like, you don't use the home row, so I'm giving you like a C+. And I'm like, lady, I type faster than you. She was probably just jealous. She probably actually didn't care. Because it probably like, she's like, I'd love to give you a good grade, but the Ontario school curriculum says I have to teach home row. If they find out I'm not teaching home row, they're going to turn my ass into like a substitute teacher, or they're going to make me coach volleyball or something like that. So she's just trying to protect herself. Meanwhile, people at the Ontario school board are like, we don't care if our kids type fast. We just want our kids to perform better on the standardized typing test than the kids in Quebec do. And it's all turtles all the way up, you know? Today's been golden so far. Thank you. Nothing hits like a +2 from the librarian. Because it's like, you know, you're going to be double dipping on content. Or rather, the content will be dipped twice. Because I'm only dipping it once, and you're only dipping it once. But that in and of itself constitutes a bit of a double dip, if you will. Dip these nuts in your mouth? I can't. They're your nuts. You have to dip them in my mouth. But don't do it. I will bite them off. Oh, bully, bully, bully. I'm not bullying you. You say you tried to assault me. I've been working on like a joke. It's like my symphony. I've been working on a joke for like 10 years. The premise of the joke, this is not meant to be funny. This is merely meant to be the premise. Don't you think it's time we add a third seasoning to the salt and pepper duo? Like, it's been salt and pepper for like, I don't know, at least my entire life. Aren't we ready for like salt, pepper, and cardamom? The people aren't ready for that one. You don't use other seasonings? I use other seasonings all the time, but like nobody ever says like add salt. People always write salt and pepper to taste. I think we need to add another one. I think we need a third one. Like, it's not frankincense and myrrh, it's gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And I think it should be Old Bay. I think it should be Mrs. Dash. I don't know. I'm trying to think, what would the worst one be? Because that would really tie the joke together. Don't leave me, Murph. Hey, did you see the tweet about Christopher Nolan that said Christopher Nolan loves Cillian Murphy so much? His first 8 movies starred Cillian Murphy, and then the movie he made without Cillian Murphy was all about missing someone named Murphy. Listen, I'm a big believer that some things are coincidences, but that's like, that's striking. That's not entirely true, but okay. You know my thinking lately. Fuck asking for sources. I'm gonna start believing people. Not all of Christopher Nolan's first 5 movies starred Cillian Murphy, but a lot of them did. And Interstellar is largely about missing someone named Murphy. It's also about a fucking cool ass robot. But he could have named his daughter anything, and he named her Murphy. That's all I'm saying. Okay, I'm hitting an enemy 2 times. And then I'm going invisible like Clay Aiken. Not like his career, like the song that he made that ended his career. Well, his music career, because then he went into politics. And I don't know, I haven't heard about him since, but I don't really follow like the Tennessee state legislature, so what do I know? Wait, what? Yeah, Clay Aiken's like a senator now, or like he was 6 or 7 years ago. No, he wasn't. He won a primary. He was never elected. Bro, he had a suit in his Twitter profile photo. I think he got elected. He came 3rd. Yeah, but like the top 3 go on to the Senate, right? And then America texts this number to choose the winner. Can anyone figure out what Sufjan Stevens' song, the background music, sounds like? You seem to have Sufjan Stevens confused with Nobuo Uematsu. Both champions of their relative genres. But this is an easy mistake to make. Does Nobuo Uematsu be like do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, and then Sufjan Stevens be like, thinking outrageously, I write in cursive, I see my old friend by the face on the door, wearing 3 layers of coats and leg warmers. I see my own breath in the face on the door. And then he goes like, oh, I am not quite sleeping. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Yes, I'm accusing him of being a quiet singer who then uses Pro Tools to up his game in post. No, I'm not. I'm just saying stuff. Not really? Well, I've seen him in concert. I saw Sufjan Stevens in concert and he was loud as fuck. Now, I never worry. That was a lie. So true, Anthony Kiedis, so true. It's always weird when songwriters write a lie into their songs, right? Like, you're the one writing the song. It's not YouTube clickbait, you know? It's not 2 truths and a lie. Like, what are we doing here? Many people are saying this. I don't know. I'm just... I can't look at chat that much, so I gotta focus on the game and just say whatever pops into my head. You ever think about how crazy it is that that dude's named Henry Kissinger? He shouldn't have been like the Secretary of State. He should have been like, he should have run like a kissing booth or something like that. You ever think about that? That's probably why nobody likes him. NL, that's not... I know it's not why nobody likes him, okay? I'm just trying to bring some levity to this situation. Jimmy Carter gotta be immortal? He is like... And I don't say this to make light of the situation. My understanding previously about hospice was like... When you go into hospice, you might have like a couple of months. You might have a day. He's been in hospice for like 10 months. Which I'm not saying like, you know, that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying like it's a long time. Good for him, honestly. Don't put it there. I thought hospice means you're torched. Come on. That's not the preferred nomenclature, dude. Anyway, this fight dedicated to Jimmy Carter. Dude installed solar panels on the White House roof. Next motherfucker said, not me. Took that shit off. Keep shoveling rocks into the damn furnace. What are you doing, man? They already installed the solar panels. Okay, I'm coming back to life. He's not asking you to pay for the solar panels, Ronnie. They're already paid for. Like everything in Washington, D.C., the taxpayer footed the bill. Everybody just relax for a second. That's a problem. And there's the solution. I lived. Oh! You think that's how you'd want to go? Would you want to get sucked into a tornado of fire and killed? It's not my preferred way to go. I think I'd rather like slowly get crushed in a hydraulic press, maybe. Something like that. Just something a little quick and painless. Slowly encased in like a stone tomb with just my head poking out or something. Buried up to my shoulders in sand and then honey poured on my head and then fire ants released in the vicinity. Like just something like that. Peacefully in bed surrounded by my family. Okay, pussy. Encased in a giant wicker man and then lit on fire. I don't go to music festivals, okay? I'm happy for you. It's weird to hear a grown man say pussy. Compared to which demographic? I would say we're probably the demographic that says it the most. I'm not saying it's our word. I'm simply saying I bet we're probably in its highest degree of utilization. Where you at, scumbag? Horrible. Horrible play. How about a tornado for you? I'm a firing my laser. So true. So true. Alright, 0 revives, but we lived. I think we should be fine, probably. That took 20 years for us to complete, but no big deal. I'm not even going to look at you. It's just going to make me feel bad. You're right. That one was for Jimmy Carter. I'm glad we made it. Probably my favorite president. Well, I don't know. Abe Lincoln was kind of a... He was kind of the original top G when you think about it. I mean, like... The dude was so calm, cool, and collected, even his war was civil. He's having an insane off. Yeah. Yeah, many people are accusing me of having an insane off. Many people are saying I don't know what I'm talking about. He even died in a cool way. Listen, I'm sure that he probably would have preferred to live. Don't say Peaker's advantage. That's It was a sucker punch. Honestly, if they 1v1'd on DE Dust, there's no shot Lincoln wasn't taking John Wilkes Booth. John Wilkes Booth was camping. If Lincoln made a mistake, it was honestly just having too much honor. Thinking that they were going to have a sniper's duel. Or what? Listen, I don't know. NL, Abraham Lincoln was my great-great-great-great-grandfather, and we're still not over it yet. Okay, fine! I'm sorry! If all I'm saying... This is my impression of a streamer who got famous when they were like 17. So they look at everything through the lens of the game that they got famous playing. All I'm saying, bro, is if I was there, I would have used a buyback on Lincoln. Abe, if you're listening, I would have rezzed you, bro. First off, I think honestly you probably would have made it out of the gulag with me because I'd be gassing you up. But I definitely would have. You know what? I probably it wouldn't have happened in the first place because I would have bought you a self-revive. It's pretty fucked up how Ulysses S. Grant didn't buy Abe back. I'm on 1 HP. I'm on 1 HP. I'm running away because I'm very afraid. Oh, I didn't see you, you freaking robot! Oh. Oh, he was playing solos. Okay. Well, it was still a good run. We died in exactly the same place. Best joke wins. What would Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zooey Deschanel's kids have been called if they got married and had kids in 500 Days of Summer? I'll start. Belle and Sebastian. Tegan and Sarah. That's pretty good, too. Procter and Gamble. All right. All right. Can you explain? In 500 Days of Summer, it's a little bit of a twee movie with indie sensibilities. Joseph Gordon-Levitt goes to a mythical karaoke bar that somehow has the Pixies' Here Comes Your Man on the song list, and he sings that and wins the attention of Zooey Deschanel. Zooey Deschanel, she's like your prototypical manic pixie dream girl. She's not like other girls. She listens to music. I listen to music. Yeah, but do you listen to There Is a Light That Never Goes Out by the Smiths? Yeah. Well... Okay, sister, good for you. I'm just saying she's a quirked up lady with bangs, okay? She does have bangs. And then Belle and Sebastian is an indie pop band from Scotland. They sing songs like, if they follow you, don't look back, like Dylan in the movies. Magnetic and Fields, so true. These are my kids, Steven and Merritt. Are you into Big Thief? No, I don't listen to music by criminals. If they were big people who don't steal things, I would give them a chance, but Big Thief? No, I don't think so. Close-minded ass. I don't listen to music by criminals, okay? Except I think that maybe Snoop Dogg killed a guy. He was accused of murdering someone for sure. Guy who doesn't understand music voice. Can somebody tell me why the police don't just arrest Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, and MC Ren? They're literally admitting in this song to murdering like dozens of people. I believe that Ice Cube in Fuck the Police says he will kill a police officer and then cook them in a pot like gumbo. I believe he's suggesting that he would engage in a cannibalistic act, consume the flesh of the police officer that he murdered. Excuse me, officer, I'd like to report a crime. Yes, what is it? Well, in the song from 1994, It Was a Good Day by Ice Cube, Ice Cube admits to drinking and driving. In fact, he says he's halfway home, but drunk as hell, but no throwing up. Halfway home and my pager's still blowing up. He's distracted driving and drunk driving. Can we arrest him, please? Yo, I'm kind of into this, though. No, you lost me? You lost me. I'm lost. I don't know where I am. Where am I? Where am I? Oh, I'm back. Now, could you get like a really like like a raspy female vocalist saying something in like a foreign language, or maybe even a made-up language. Like she could be saying like, "Allez-vous de chanter? Grappa gupa kapaki." Oh, hey. Sorry, that was where the chorus was supposed to come in, but I don't have a chorus voice. We need someone with a good voice for that one. We need this is the Dan Behar track. Fuck a duck. Suck on the duck. I don't know where we're going. Okay, sorry. You're kind of picking up the vibe I'm putting down here, though. Start the game? Brother, this is my life. Did you hear that? There was a lady in the background speaking in a foreign language. I told you! It was filtered through like an answering machine, too. She said, I love you? Yeah, it's a foreign language. Love. My love language is doing the dishes. Click and drag to place an eye factory. There you go. And then connect the node to the node on the purple bin. Look at that. We are producing eyes. And those eyes are going to a destination. Commerce has never been this solved. Holy cow. 30,000 other players have built this word. Listen, you idiots and you assholes, you're really optimizing the speed of producing eyes. No, continue editing. Okay, if you're gonna Zachtronics me right from the frickin' start, then sure, okay? Delete this son of a gun. Put this bad boy one away. Drag me up. Okay, that's up to you, all right? You did this to me. Oh, you use 6 more tubes than is necessary. There you go. We're doing fine. I don't have to be the best. Mergers let you join letters together to form new letters. So we can put 2 I factories together. And then place a merger. And that'll spit out a V. Do we even need to bend it? Let's just see what happens. 2 I's come together. They do become a V. Look at that. Maybe there's something cooler you can do, but let's just learn the basics. Maybe we save space just by using 1 I factory. Okay, we have an I, and then we got a merger. And then can we have you just... We'll have you split your output there. Dude, this is a bit of a bop, isn't it? It's a bit of a bop. Okay, I think I've mastered the basics. V-me. This isn't how letters work. Watch out, guys. Captain Letters is here. So true. Actually, it is how it worked. Back in the day, Herodotus was carrying around individual stone tablets that had shapes on them, and he accidentally dropped 2 I's together, and they cracked in just the right way to form a V. And he was like, holy cow. This is very, very nice. This game would be hard for Romans. I plus I equals V. So true. Me when I'm... Julius Caesar playing Word Factory. I do not get it. Vinny do not get it. He's like, I should, when you add it together, it should spit out it should spit out I. He's a genius. Okay, we've finished our tutorial levels. Here we go. Make an A. Shut the fuck up, chat. I can do this. I know you're like, oh, here we go. Adder right here. That's going to take 1 V and 1 sideways, and that's going to make an upside down A. And then we're going to mirror it vertically and spit it out here. Let's see how smart I am. Let's just see how smart I am. That's upside down question mark. Why is it making a question mark? Prior to you, we need to put the vertical rotator right here. Just get deleted for a second, okay? Vertical rotator here. And the addition happens right here. Whoops. What? No, hang on. I'm stupid. Okay, everyone shut up for a second. I got it all figured out, but you're getting in my head. You come in there, you come in there, and then you come out here. This is an A if I've ever seen one. We gotta flip it before we add it. He's a genius. Look at this. I can feel the spaghetti coming. Factorio players, when they've colonized the entire planet and have infinite space, but the streamer uses too many tiles in order to make his conveyor belts. NL, I've been leaving this comment for 55 episodes in a row. You have a slight inefficiency in one of your conveyor belts. It does a curve when it doesn't need to take a curve. Instead, it could just be a straight line. Listen, you're right. Is that what you wanted to hear? Start them right over here. Maybe. Oh, NL, your factories aren't symmetrical. Shut up, man. Forget symmetrical. You know where most factories are in real life? Ohio. They got bigger problems, okay? For us to produce at the same pace, we're going to want 2 I factories. One of the I factories is going to feed into a rotator, which will then add these 2 suckers together and then go straight to the end here. As a L. Okay. I know what I must do. Take an L. It's all crossed up, man. 1 second. I gotta retrofit it. You're becoming in half of an L. You're going to this one right here. What else is going to you? This. This is making an L. And then you're coming out here. And then, okay, send it. That's not a T. How is an L plus another line not... Oh, because it's got to be flipped fucking upside down after that. You got to give it one of these, and you got... And then you send it. Okay. Now it's just a flipped question mark. You gotta go here first. Then you go here instead. Yeah, that should do it. I don't think I did anything. Hang on. These are 2 rotations, and then 1 straight I into a triple factory, and then flip it vertically. And that's a damn T, as far as I'm concerned. Ah, new F recipe found. What the hell? I made the Twitter logo. You're right, that's Tumblr, not Twitter. How about 2 L's? Oh, you mad genius. What about 2 L's? And then I'm like, add them and flip them. But it's going to spit out a question mark instead of a shape. Don't put it there. Are you crazy? What are you doing? I don't think this is going to work. We might need to flip before the combination. See, that is the one thing that I'm just about Word Factory right now. I'm just throwing this out here. I should be able to, the shapes should add no matter what. If it doesn't add it, and maybe there's a game design reason for this that'll come up later, it's harder to debug why it's wrong when it just spits out a question mark for any error. How am I supposed to debug if it just says error? It doesn't say off by one error, array out of bounds exception. It doesn't say, you know, the string does not exist or something like that. The object hasn't been in memory. Welcome to coding. Bro, you fucking use an IDE, you zoomer. Your ass is not writing this shit on like a punch card and then flushing them down into a ENIAC. Your compiler is like, here's your error. But half of the programmers are so stupid, they're like, I don't know what the error means, even though it tells me what the error is. Just Google it, bro. Somebody smarter than you has already made like a Stack Overflow post about it, okay? Oh, debugging is so hard. Brother, the IDE told you what the problem was. Maybe you can spend less time watching me and more time doing your damn job. Okay, let me just delete it all. Start over from zero. How's that for programming? You can't merge into stuff that doesn't exist? I mean, that's what I'm saying. It does exist. It's just a question mark. It's just an upside down question mark. It exists as a shape. It's being represented as a question mark. It's not a letter, but it could be a letter. Because an upside down T, it's a question mark. If it was an upside down T, it should be an upside down T, so then I could mirror it vertically and create a right side up T. It wouldn't be an upside down T. Control Z. Motherfucker. Okay, hang on. I just want to, because I think there's an elegant way to solve this problem. Let me see what the output from these two factories is. I guess I need, okay, it's spitting out Fs, right. Spitting out Fs. Because we need to make two L's. So you start with the two L's instead. Excuse me, delete. That's not how you do that. Sorry, you need the this L gets flipped. And then they get added together. Almost deleted it. And then they get flipped right side up. And then they become a cat. New U recipe found. I didn't even make a bend. Maybe I'm a crazy person. I feel like these two things mashed together makes a T. But maybe I can't add shapes in my head. Why is it combining them as if this is on the left and this is on the right? Overlaid, it's a U? Am I an insane person? I don't want to become a hater, okay? The input position should be relevant. Like, here's the thing. I'm not saying I can't do it the other way, because all we have to do is flip the shit upside down before we put it in the factory. But for me, I'm like, I feel like the fundamental laws of physics have been changed. Like, I feel like the left and the right should matter. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's not just about finding the solution. Because, I mean, I'm pretty sure that the solution would... Oh, God. Undo. Hang on. We can remake that. Just... You need to spit this out. You're going here. Rotated. You're going here. And then both of you are being flipped. Not added and flipped. just flipped. So you're getting flipped horizontal, and then you know what? Flip me. Place me. Flip me. You can't go into a flipper. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. Place me. Flip me. Add me. Truly, madly, deeply do. You can't have two inputs into one thing. They're just making up the rules as they go along, man. New tea recipe found. Okay, then we probably shouldn't flip it upside down at the end. I mean, I feel like now we understand the rules, but at the risk of sounding like a hater, I don't think like two L's that are back to back doesn't make a U. It makes an upside down T. I feel like I gotta add, like I gotta do an MS Paint drawing. If you take two L's back to back and you push them together, they become an upside down T. Then you grab it like this and you give it a little lick and then you go whoom, and it's a T. That's the way that it made sense to me. But instead, you gotta take the if you do two L's back to back, it becomes a U. Then what you gotta do is you gotta flip the two L's first, and then it becomes a T. Even though for me, if it's like that, that's an upside down U. And then you give it a little lick, it becomes a U. But whatever. It overlays them. It doesn't overlay them. The way that it actually works is there's a motherfucking recipe in the game that says two L's put together in any configuration. Like if they're right side up, it's going to make a U no matter what, even if they went into the machine like that. There's a recipe in the game. There's no secret sauce if you squint, if you imagine, if you focus your vision through your monitor, the negative space makes a U. There's a recipe. It's a chemical reaction. Two right side up L's in any configuration makes a U. Is H2O. Then what are you complaining about? I was under the impression that you were adding together shapes, but you're not adding together shapes, you're cooking. Now that I know you're cooking, well, then it's too easy. This should spit out a D. Then you add the D to an I. Oh, wait a minute. Of course, D plus I, as long as you don't worry about font size, D plus I. It'll get you there. Font size notwithstanding. That poor I Factori at the back, man. He's crazy. The trick with these games, if you want to be like really smart, you can like try to be low on the histogram for everything, if it's even possible. My trick is seeing which one I'm lowest on and going like, wow, I'm so much smarter than like 40% of the population. That's crazy. And then ignoring the other ones where I'm like in the long tail. We did it. Speedrun mode unlocked. Level available in full game. Well, look at that. We beat the demo. Listen. My identity is constructed around being smart, and I know that that's embarrassing because I'm not really. But then the game made me feel stupid, so I took some shots at the game. I acknowledge that within myself, I have a tendency to get defensive when my authority on this kind of stuff is called into question, and that's my own personal cross to bear and to deal with in therapy, right? This was Word Factory. Once I figured out the rules, I felt like we were cooking. I felt like we had a good time. You can play the demo for yourself. I will link it in the video description. And then also, let's see when it's coming out on Steam. As with all these demos, if you like them, you can wishlist them on Steam. I'm sure the developers would be stoked. It comes out August the 3rd. That's very soon. Go check it out. Balatro? No, I got a message from the developer, which, by the way, they're well within their rights. They said, you're making my game look too good, and we're not ready for it. So bring it back. They're revoking my key. That's me breaking the chains of Balatro and looking into the sunset because I'm free. They're revoking my key and then giving it back when the marketing blitz starts up again. So yeah, we could play an hour of SAP. Or I do, but I do love the dulls. For some reason. I guess I should put myself in just chatting. How does one do that? Edit stream info. Just chatting. Something, 17 clicks. I believe the something is the bald Keanu Reeves waking up from the pod in the movie The Matrix. No, put me back in. I was the person at Twitch in charge of changing the field for game to a web widget. So instead of just using tab to get down to it and then typing in the game name, you have to make 17 clicks in order to close out of the category you're already in and then find another category. And you can't just type the name of the game. As you're typing, it queries a database of all the games that have ever existed. So you're typing like, I'm playing Super Meat Boy. And it's going, returning the results of every game that's ever been made with super in it. There's only about 135,000. Meanwhile, your computer's got smoke coming out of the damn vents. NL, you don't understand. It's modern web design. It's UX. People that aren't old don't use tab and then type. They click on things and I don't get it. They all grew up on touchscreens. Meet me in Vim, okay? We'll see who's gonna be faster. Father, what's the Vim button for using my telephone to order DoorDash versus me? I even turned off my damn linter. You think I want to be having something autocomplete to array list when I could just be using arrays instead, doing my own manual memory management? Ethylene polymers, $9 million worth of cars. Watch movements. Watch this movement. Barely see it. Mineral carvings, Marie. Fake hair? What the hell is this? What is this country, dude? 181 million is, can I be honest with you? This might sound like a reach, or maybe it sounds like cheating. $181 million sounds so small for what are relatively refined products that this almost feels like something that the United Nations has like sanctions on. Could this be like, I don't know, like Syria? Could this be Myanmar? It's close to Myanmar. Relative, I mean, it's 3,600 kilometers away. That's like 130-minute Ali Love Alanis Morissette rides stacked back to back. If you go northeast of Myanmar by a few thousand kilometers, it's only China, North Korea, South Korea, maybe Japan. So it's probably North Korea. It is North Korea. Newsprint. Bro, who's getting the North Korean news outside of North Korea? That's got to be like the bottom of the barrel. No disrespect. I'm just like, I can't imagine someone living in Ohio or something being like, oh, my Pyongyang Sunday edition just arrived. Oh, everything's great. Again, love to start my day off on that foot. Anyway. Sorry. You don't read the Pyongyang Post? I bet they're doing good work. I love all journalism. Wait, do I love all journalism? I don't know. I have to think about that one. Will lead us to kings will third decree. There's no more good news and bad news. From now on, there's just... Hang on, we're going to have to think about this one. Not sure I like censored state media. Oh, yet you watch fucking like CNN or whatever? I don't know. Get owned, I think. It's Suriname. That's cooler. It's Trinidad and Tobago. That's warmer. It's Dominica. That's even warmer. No. It's the Dominican Republic. No. That's cooler. Bahamas. That's up there, huh? Antigua and Barbuda. That's warmer. I didn't know it was all the way down there. Well, if Barbuda is down there, then Barbados must be close by. It's warmer. It's French Guiana. It's a territory, not a country in this game. It's France. France is cooler. Sorry, it's not France. It's Bermuda. Did you mean Germany? No. All right, I'm not going to fall for that one again. It's Aruba. That's not even a country. I give up. Chat, can I get something on this one? It's Saint something. How about Saint Kitts and Nevis? That's warmer. How about Jerry Rice and Nidus, dog football? Saint Lucia. I don't get Santa Lucia. It's Saint. Thank you. I appreciate that one. Thanks for your help. Okay, Warner Brothers 32 milli, Christopher Lambert. This is Highlander. Don't tell me. Highlander 2, The Quickening? No, okay. Christopher Lambert starred genre, adventure, drama, action, romance. Tagline, a legendary hero and the tale that's never been told. Highlander. It's a shipping disaster in the 19th century has stranded a man and a woman in the wilds of Africa. The lady is pregnant and gives birth to a son in their treehouse. Soon after, a family of apes stumble across the house, and in the ensuing panic, both parents are killed. A female ape takes the tiny boy as a replacement for her own dead infant and raises him as her son. This is Tarzan, the legend of. I'm not burning all my guesses on Tarzan analogs, okay? It might just be Tarzan, but Tarzan might also refer to the Disney film instead. How's your mosquito bite?
Dude, it's getting worse. Look at it.
Holy.
Do you see? Like, today it was this, like, now I can't even...
My wife got she got a mosquito bite on her knee, and her knee has swollen up like to the size of I would say it's the size of like a navel orange.
And it's so like hot, even not just on it, but around it. But I can't like walk.
That is like, I mean, it is swollen.
Like I cannot fold my leg. It actually is painful.
It's very hot to the touch. I'm describing it thusly. It's not boiling. It's comfortable to touch it, but it's hot.
My knee is like in constant pain now.
That is like just really swollen.
Yeah, and it's only getting bigger. And like my whole leg is like hot compared to like this leg, and this leg is so much hotter. It's a rare allergic symptom. I cannot bend my knee. So I was like walking around like this, limping.
My wife said she Googled it, and if you don't get bitten by mosquitoes a lot when you're like a kid,
or like never had this specific type of mosquito saliva or whatever,
it's like your body didn't build the required antihistamines or whatever to deal with it. Okay, A lot of people are actually saying they have something similar. And when, like, someone in chat said, my wife's from the South, and when she gets bitten by a mosquito, her ass swells up really big.
Don't trust that guy. Oh my god.
My girlfriend has that too. You know what I hate? And it's like, you can never say like F you for saying it, but you're like, oh, I have this like medical thing, and people are like, go to a doctor. And I'm like, listen, I wish we lived in a perfect world too. But like, you're basically saying like, sack 18 hours to go wait in the emergency room because your ass is going to the back of the line. Like, it'll have you rooting against your fellow man. Because people will come in with their like arms chopped off, and you'll be like, oh, great, I'm gonna be here for like another 45 minutes while they sew that dude's arms back on. To be like, come on, I know that dude is like in cardiac distress, but I've been here for like a really, really long time. Like, I've been here for like 10 hours with my swollen knee.
It's only getting bigger.
Yeah. It's, oh, my head got crushed by a steamroller. Oh, right this way, sir. Right this way. So it's really, like, I'm not saying it's not a doctor situation. I'm just saying, like, it's, you got to really want it. Usually I can get in and out of urgent care in an hour.
Well, they live in 1,000 people population.
Where do you live, brother? Holy. You guys have teledoc? Okay, so like, sorry, by the way, I'm basically stalling because I don't want to use all my guesses on Tarzan and Jason. But I used teledoc once. Our daughter had an allergic reaction to something, and like her eyes turned super red and her face was all swollen. So then I took a picture of it and sent it to teledoc, and they were like, the appointment's $50. And I said, yeah, whatever. Like, this is a... Oh, but you're supporting a two-tiered healthcare system. Listen, my kid was in trouble, okay? I took a picture of the reaction, sent it to the teledoc, and was like, I think our daughter had an allergic reaction to something. And then the teledoc, like an hour later, responded and was like, can you take another picture? And I took another picture, and he was like, it looks like there's an allergic reaction, but we can't really diagnose that much over the phone. Well, I was like, why does your ass like exist then? Because that's what I'm here for. Like, I'm here to get diagnosed. Then you call 811, which is like the nurse's hotline. It takes 2 hours to get your systems read off. And then the nurse just says, it sounds like you got to go to the doctor. And you're like, well, I could have been 2 hours into my 20-hour emergency room visit if I just left right away. We'll keep an eye on it. That's like the 2023 version of going to the doctor is we'll keep an eye on it. Contact us if anything changes. Warner Brothers, this is Tarzan. Son of a... Tarzan and Jane. Tarzan the Ape Man. Yeah, no! Greystoke, the Legend of Tarzan, Lord of the Apes. That was going to be my next guess, man. That was going to be my next guess. Is Greystoke, the Legend of Tarzan, Lord of the Apes. It's like the 8th boss that you fight in Sekiro. Oh, man. Budget $0. They have made a lot of Tarzan movies, haven't they? It's kind of crazy because they all suck. Greta Gerwig, Lady Bird with Saoirse. Saoirse. Saoirse! Oh! One of these days, man. This is Lady Bird, which is a coming-of-age film. And then that's West Side Story. Okay, now hear me out here. The obvious connection is that The Artist? I didn't know John Goodman was in The Artist. I'll be honest with you, God is my witness, I thought that movie was French. Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig have been in movies together because they are married. No, Greta Gerwig has been in the Noah Baumbach directed movie White Noise. But White Noise, it ain't winning Best Picture, brother. It doesn't have John Goodman. It's not in black and white, and it's not from the silent era. So I think that's a trap. Let me work on this for a minute. I don't think maybe, you know what? Maybe Noah Baumbach did win Best Picture. No, that doesn't seem likely. Jets. Noah Baumbach. Maybe it's not Best Picture. Maybe it's not Best Picture. Maybe it's John Goodman in a musical about the Blues Brothers. It's the Blues Brothers 2000. It's John Goodman. It's just because I don't want to do silent era, man. It's a black and white movie about New York City. It's called New York City, Greta Gerwig, black and white. It's Frances Ha. It probably involves Noah Baumbach and somewhere. Yeah! I knew they're married. Of course they're going to be connected. Okay, we got there. Frances Ha, 2012. Never seen it? Now, give me the reversal, please. CGI'd animals. Bradley Cooper. Christian Bale. Jared Leto. Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe. Blood Diamond, Gladiator, Guardians of the Galaxy, Djimon Hounsou films. Amistad. You laughed at me. You laughed at me for thinking it could be Djimon Hounsou, maybe. Movies based on things you read. Movies with food, movies with Ralph Fiennes. Movies that take place in one location. I haven't seen Glass Onion, but maybe that takes place. Whoa, okay, hang on. Triangle of Sadness, American Psycho, Glass Onion, The Menu. This American Psycho does not take place in one location, but these are movies with mortars. And these are movies that are for kids. Sorry, her. These are movies for kids. Maybe these movies with Scarlett Johansson in them? Yes, okay. Wealth satire? It's not wealth satire, okay? It's movies where people get freaking Ralph Fiennes. Marcus Aurelius. Movies that take place in a courtroom. Movies with a boat in them. Movies that are on an island, Glass Onion, Isle of Dogs, on Golden Pond, Amistad, Kingsman, The Golden Circle. I don't know. I just don't know this one. Solve me. Shapes in title. Triangle, square pants, golden circle, blood diamond. Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? That one hurt. That one hurt a lot, honestly. I know this. This is The Wolf Among Us. Average guesses? Average guesses? Unknown. My favorite Telltale game story is I loved The Walking Dead Season 1, okay? Loved it. Wolf Among Us comes out. Played it on the I guess it was on the PS3. No, I was playing it on the PC. I got to a part where you have to do an autopsy on a guy or like grab something out of a dead body's pockets. And the game just soft locked me. It said like, you can't interact with this anymore. Like the thing I needed to interact with was just like, it wouldn't let me interact with. And I Googled it and it was like, oh, this is a known bug on the PC. I downloaded that shit for the Xbox 360, played an hour and a half to get back to the same point, got hit with the same fucking bug. And I said, you're cooked. I don't think I ever gave another Telltale game a shot ever again. From the highest highs to the lowest lows. I was so ready to like get invested in another Telltale series. Holy man. This is... People were really shorter back then, huh? I bet this dude is like 5'3". Nowadays, the average person has to duck their head when they go through that door. Well, I mean, this place probably burned down like a long time ago, but... Anyway, I'm going to say this is 1930 even. It's 1939. Hoppy Adams in Annapolis. It's 1190. Oh my God. I think this is 1961. 1956. Oh, I got my ass kicked by like... On every single one, I got my ass beat. We're definitely not getting 4,000 on that one. Presented by Leslie Kuntz. I'm sorry. It's her name, man. I didn't say it's her name. It just took me by surprise. I didn't do anything. I just said her name. I mean, this looks like it's like Hawaii or California. So I am going to say that this is $1 million house, despite its relatively modest size. Hermosa Beach, California. I don't know where Hermosa Beach is. Take me up to 2 milli. Okay. It's 1,100 square feet. We're already talking about like 2.6 milli on this one, maybe. You're correct. Okay. That's an easy one. This is an insane photo. Like, this is an album cover and a half right here. Holy. And this guy's like nothing I ain't ever seen before. Stiff upper lip. It's just... I promise you, I'm not laughing at like the cultural difference. I'm mostly laughing because, like, she is looking, man. Like, she looks like she's got a bone to pick with this guy. And honestly, she might troll, I know. Or, like, at least what he represents. But, like, this is not your normal posed photo, you know, at Buckingham Palace or something. I'm pretty sure that's in England. Scroll me. Buckingham Nights, Buckingham Dreams, Buckingham Screams, Malibu. I do this every time. Like, I know it's here somewhere. There you go, Buckingham Palace. No, I don't know, man. 1971. It was 1935. I thought the photo was staged black and white to be like dramatic. Everest Base Camp. Well, it's 2021 or later. Honestly, you should not climb Mount Everest. I'm saying that just like for your own self-preservation. There was a Vancouver guy who died climbing Mount Everest like this year. I know that it's also like bad for the very fragile ecosystem on Mount Everest, but also it's like a 1 in 10 chance you actually die if you do it. That's not worth it, man. Just go hiking or something. Simulated on a Stairmaster, exactly. Okay, you were 1 year off. We're back though. Okay, what? Is her ass at Epcot? I don't understand. Norway's 14 miles and Peru's 46 miles? St. Bartholomew. Sweden, Poland, Mexico, Peru. Okay, so the only thing that makes sense to me is that this is like the South Pole. That doesn't make any sense. This is not what the South Pole looks like. I'm also pretty sure there's no, like, Naples hasn't made a claim on the South Pole, or Paris, or Poland, or Mexico. I have no idea, man. What the hell? Middle of the North Atlantic Ocean, 2006. A woman next to a sign in Maine. New England famously contains many towns named after European cities. All right. You got me. Pictures that go unbelievably hard. Final Fantasy 16 boss fights be like, holy. This has to be Uganda, right? Circa 1986. It was the Central African Republic. Emperor Jean Bedel Bokassa of the Central African Republic, seated on his tasteless golden throne. Excuse me, tasteless? Can we stop with the editorializing here? Listen, it might be in bad taste considering the circumstances. As someone removed from the circumstances, that shit goes hard, man. That is crazy. Like, would I have it in my house? No. If I saw it in someone's house, I'd be like, oh, snap. Is President John F. Kennedy? And a horse. So that horse must be Lyndon B. Johnson. It's the only thing that makes sense. Sure, 1962 sounds good. Hey, with his pet pony Macaroni. During his stay in Washington, he also had several dogs, a cat, 1 canary, 2 parakeets, hamsters, and a rabbit named Jaja. Must have been loud as fuck inside of the White House when John F. Kennedy was there. Holy cow. Now, you guys, keep it down, please. two parakeets and a canary. A rabbit going... It's crazy, man. No wonder this dude did the Bay of Pigs. 30,352. Okay, we probably... we might not have time to get the rest of them all done. Unless we go really fast. It's $311,000 house. Columbus Junction, Ohio. $2. A little higher than that. Okay, how about 107? Yeah, I added a joke to listed. Just everyone relax. 30,000 is probably $154,000. It's probably like 100. I should delete this one, man. There's just no point. Like, what? I'm not even looking at the picture. 149,999. 145,000. Just type in numbers. You got it. It's 145,000. Didn't even look at the damn picture. It shouldn't. This one needs a rework. Travle. Today I'd like to go from Greenland to El Salvador. Well, I feel like the Greenland connection is to Canada. At which point you then have to go to the United States of America specifically. At which point you have no choice but to go to Mexico. At which point you have no choice but to go to the country right below Mexico, which is... That's so embarrassing, dude. That's so embarrassing. Which is Honduras. Oh! It's not Costa Rica. It's not going to be El Salvador because that's where we're going. It's not going to be Trinidad and Tobago. It's not going to be Panama. That's further down. Could be Nicaragua. Could be Guatemala. It was Guatemala the whole time. Still, we got it. Couple of orange guesses in there, but we got there. There's literally like only one path you could take, so like I'm a little embarrassed. Okay. Cranberries or Marilyn Manson? I mean, that's a gimme. Because as far as I know, Marilyn Manson doesn't have a song that goes, I'm such a fool for you. You've got me wrapped around your finger, dear. Did you have to let it linger? Who you got for Rocket League Worlds? I'll say G2. G2's probably got it this year. They got a really strong squad. They recently got Kranovi. I know that he was on Na'Vi, but he got bought out as a free agent. Now he's on G2. He plays the sweeper position. So I'd have to say G2's probably got a really good chance this year. I mean, you can never count out Na'Vi, even though they're rolling with Billabong now. You know, he's a little untested at the highest level, but I mean, they got him for a reason. If you're not going G2 and you're not going Na'Vi, then I think there's no doubt that like Team Liquid is kind of like my outsider pick. I think Team Liquid's got a good chance. And you can never forget LGD. You know, I don't know that much about the teams from the East. They play in a different time zone for me. But LGD, I think, has a realistic chance to make it, just because their playstyle is going to be super unfamiliar. Kate has gone live. I'm free! I'm free! I made it! I'm free! Oh, man. Kronovi's old now? What are you talking about? He's too old for Rocket League? What is he, 19? I'll see you tomorrow. Komodo Town. Just took out Komodo Town. I just got downed. You know, revived me. Now we're heading eastbound. Now we're at the gates of Canada. See the boss and kill him later. Take me to Canada. Wanna kill the boss. Stop the Mongol invasion. And lives been lost. I really want to Tsushima with you. You could be the ghost of Tsushima, the ghost of Tsushima.